total offense, 160 passing. Woo. Quite an athlete. Second down and 10. From the 47-yard line, the Gauchos. Smid in trouble. Smid, the ball taken away. Vega, he'll go all the way. Touchdown, Fullerton.
Not even that makes Hal Scherbeck smile at this point.
Ben Vega, there he is. The sophomore from Nordhoff just stripped the ball away from Jason Smid and took it in for a touchdown. How much yards it was, I don't know. I think it was about 40 yards. How many yards? Unbelievable. How about that for a turnaround?
You know,
a Hornet player who went back to Michigan State, and guess who he said you ought to come back west?
John Green.
John Green. Small world, isn't it? Swearingen across the line. 9 straight Mission Conference titles, a state record. Yeah, he's a great guy. Real fun person to be around, and the staff just loves him. Hankins, the fullback. Hankins to the 50-yard line. He's stacked up by Jay Wilkerson, and they bulldog him down. But they're going to give him forward progress inside Gaucho territory, and that should be enough for a first down for the Hornets.
He's slow getting up too, Lon.
Dean Wilkerson really was pushing him backwards, and a lot of pursuit from the inside. Yepi Pa'u, number 40, along with help from Neil Wallner, 91 in there.
Well, talking to one of the assistant coaches for the Hornets, Jerry Mejia, yesterday, he said that there was nothing like the Taft game as far as being on the sideline, and we were there. That intensity and the blocking, it was like gladiators, and you know they have to go back out there again. It's like, gosh darn it, you kick your heels, and they're out there, and all the exhaustion and the energy that took place. He says he wouldn't be surprised if that type of game took place out there today, Saddleback and Fullerton, and a lot of hard hitting early so far.
Well, it looks like it so far, really. You can kind of sense it, the intensity. And last year at the Pony Bowl, perhaps because of all the quarterback sacks and so on, we didn't quite feel it that way. This time we got a good one brewing, 14-7 the Gauchos. 2 minutes and 4 seconds to go. The Hornets just inside Gaucho territory at the 49-yard line. Zorn will go up top. Rollins at the 45-yard line, knocked out by Alan Roman, number 44. Short gain of 4 yards, second down and 6. Roman, if you remember the 1984 Pony Bowl, David, he's the one that went out with a broken wrist on the very next play. The Hornets smartly went to his side. Ray Skinner all alone. Rocky Mao hits him, the winning touchdown. The Hornets win it 13-10.
So you know he'd love to come back this year.
Replay, Dave.
Quick up and out. Zorn firing, single coverage, and Rollins a good possession type receiver. Doesn't go deep that much. Keeps the defensive honest with a little 7-8 yard pickup.
Got a little stat about instant replays I'll give you in just a second, Dave. You have to remind me. Zorn back to throw, and out of the hands of Aaron Grimm. Maybe a little high, but that's usually a pass that Aaron's going to bring down.
Look from here that it was tipped just a little bit at the line of scrimmage. That could have thrown Aaron's timing off a little bit as it came through. If you've ever tried to catch a pass that was deflected, even if it hits you in the hands, it throws off your timing just a little bit. That's enough to cause an incompletion.
Well, I was always tending to look and see who was going to put me down first.
You didn't run the over the middle route, did you?
Aaron doesn't do that. He likes that over the middle stuff. Sophomore from Cal High in Whittier. Halftime, Bob Evans here from Pony Shoes. We'll be able to talk to him. 3rd down and 5 for the Hornets from the 45-yard line. Zorn remains the quarterback for Fullerton College. Over the middle, Grimm, first down, stays on his feet inside the 40 to the 38-yard line. A quick slant play and a fine ball delivered by Mike Zorn. 1:44, and the Hornets have already used 2 timeouts.
Picked up the blitz, take what the defense gives them. That time Pau'u and Wilkerson coming on the blitz. So Zorn getting enough in the first second or two before that pressure can get to him, picking up the Hornet first down.
Reggie Brown, 20, starts to come out, but Hankins comes in, and Carlos Sendejas, 44, comes out for the Hornets. 1st and 10, 38-yard line, 1:27 to go. The Hornets trying to put some more points on the board in the second quarter here, the 5th annual Pony Bowl, 7 for 9. For Zorn, back to throw, Michael steps up in the pocket, can't get away. Tackle made by Neil Wallner, and is it a fumble? And they say yes. Saddleback does get the fumble recovery, the third of the afternoon. And is Mike Zorn still down?
There's a lot of glare from where we're seated at. In fact, the scoreboard's almost impossible to read, but this time of the day, it's hard to read that, and also seeing some of the things that are happening. I didn't think he fumbled the football, and some of the Hornets don't think he did either.
It really looked like he went down and he made contact with the ground. 1:19 to go, second period of play. Bill Chambers and Dave, let's take a look at it.
Now Zorn in big trouble. A lot of pressure that time from Wallner on the outside, and the Gauchos going with a four-man front, and indeed he fumbled it. So good call, and another turnover for Fullerton.
91, Neil Wallner picks up the loose ball for Neil. Recovery number 6 in 1985. The ball did go down, and so did Michael Zorn, and he is in pain. Dr. Phil McFarland out there, and he usually does not go out there unless there's a real problem. And they're going to bring out the cart to take Mike Zorn away. So Richard Williams, put the helmet on, strap it down, and get ready, guy.
So much for the alternating quarterbacks, huh?
Hal Scherbeck goes out to see what's going on, and he's very concerned, of course, about his sophomore.
You know, all the injuries we've seen during the season, a lot of guys coming hurt. We haven't seen the card out there, so you have to wonder about the severity to Mike Zorn at this point.
Well, usually the way things go with Bill Chambers, the athletic trainer, at Fullerton for years, about 23 of them, in fact. He'll go out there and take a look at it. If there's any question at all, he motions over to Dr. Mack, as the players call him, and he comes in and makes a quick diagnosis. And we would not expect to see Mike Zorn in this game again. And he will come out in the cart. Bill Chambers, Dr. Phil McFarland, and the athletic training staff. And a fine hand from the appreciative crowd here, both sides at the Pony Bowl. And Mike continues to deal with adversity. From the 43-yard line, the Gauchos with some time, 1:14 to go. Schmid, quarterback draw, keeps it himself over the 45 to the 46-yard line. What was a very successful play for them, the quarterback draw. The Hornet defense appears to have made the necessary changes, David.
Now they go to the shotgun, and first time we've seen that look from Schmidt today.
2nd and 8 to Mersola. Mersola with room to roam and speed to burn. Jeff Malstead pulls him down at the 45, perhaps saving a touchdown. That's a play they used very effectively earlier in the game that led to their first touchdown of the 1985 Pony Bowl.
Very lucky that time for Fullerton that they didn't get called for a face mask penalty. Malstead grabbed him right around the helmet, and not only giving him extra penalty yardage, but stopping the clock as well.
Gain of 9, first down. They move the chains. Saddleback. They have timeouts to go yet. Under a minute to go, 37 seconds. Schmid back to throw. Schmid going long. Sean Robertson back in pursuit. But I believe that Jason just airmailed that one into safe territory.
Some of the things he's learned is lessons well, not to force a ball or necessarily take a sack. A lot of pressure from the nose tackle Healy that time. And Jason doing the right thing, getting rid of the ball, stopping the clock.
Well, now you can see why so many people are after that phone recorder of Jason Schmid. He's such a good athlete. They've got another. Jason last year played a lot of different positions, right? They've got another one coming up, Jeff Beelman, number 12, who does the same thing, and he's a quarterback too. Wonder if they'll repeat that performance in 1986. Schmid back to throw, has a man Palomera, but he can't quite bring it down. Sean Robertson, number 22, in on the coverage. That'll bring up a 3rd down and 10 for the Gauchos, and this time they may go long. 22 seconds to go, and they lead it 14-7. Hornet turnovers, part of the story of the first half.
The Hornets continue to stay with their at least nickel coverage. Now they have 6 defensive backs, including 4 safeties. No, she's not one of the nickel backs, Lawrence. No.
Jason Schmid, 9 of 18, 140 yards from the shotgun. Young Kite and Fickling in the backfield with him. Pierce and Mersola at the wide receivers. A crossing pattern to Young Kite. He catches it and goes down out of bounds inside the 40. I believe they have the clock running, 17 seconds to go. The sun right into that scoreboard. It looks very good at night here at Orange Coast College, LaBard Stadium, but also difficult to see anything in the afternoons.
Not really a lot you can do about it either.
17 seconds. We just strain a little here. That'll bring up a 4th down and 4. And Saddleback wants to talk it over before they make a decision about what to do on this big play. 14-7, 17 seconds to go, second period of play. Both teams playing very exciting brand of football. The turnovers have been the factor so far for the Hornets, but Jason Schmidt with his 140 yards. And really his running has been a big factor also.
Outstanding with the arm. You know, 6 times this year he's thrown for over 250 yards. And he had one game against Palomar, 416 yards in their toughest game of the season. They beat Palomar that game 30-19. But he's a guy that does so many things so well, and I don't blame these people for calling his recorder. He's just truly outstanding. In fact, the coach, Bill Coonerty, his quarterback coach, says that he's a diamond in the rough. His abilities, hasn't begun to scratch the surface yet. So to think that this kid has a lot farther to go, he's already great right now with 2,500 yards this year in passing.
And of course, Saddleback College, like the Hornets, has already sent a passer into the pros, Bill Kenny, the Kansas City Chiefs, and he's throwing it to another former Saddleback Gaucho, Stephon Page. And the Hornets have a few guys in the pros themselves. Dave Wilson,
Steve DeBerg,
still with the New Orleans Saints. We don't know for how long.
We don't know how long anyone is going to stay with the Saints at this point. Also, Brian Noble.
4th down and 4. Steve Harris, our director, calls up and says they beat the Rams, but so what, huh?
I know. I looked at my checkbook the next week. I know they beat the Rams.
Schmidt back to throw. 4th down and 4. Flags go flying. Chased by Stately. Palomera has it complete. Stays on his feet and takes a vicious hit at the 33-yard line. Chris Stately, number 59, pursued the play and also pursued Tony Palomera. See what the flag's all about. I believe it's going to be against the Hornets.
Offsides.
Offsides. That'll be a first down either way. The pass good enough for the first down to the 32. Seconds, under 10 seconds to go right now. Jimmy Patterson says it's offsides declined by the Gauchos. So they have a chance right now from the 32-yard line, and they can get close enough. Tracy Rutkowski can put it through. 18 of 23 field goals, Dave, and he tied a record, I believe, of Rick Franks, a former Hornet.
The state record of 18 field goals this year, which Rick set, of course, last year, and that record was already broken. Didn't last very long, did it? Kid down at Grossmont, Rick Emke, kicked 19 this year. So Tracy Rutkowski, if he's attempting a field goal here, it should be 49 yards and would put himself higher into the Gaucho record books.
As near as we can tell here, there appears to be 9 seconds left on the clock. And the Gauchos realize they're not going to have a chance to get another playoff. And they're going to kick one here from the 39-yard line. That will be a 49-yard attempt for the Gauchos. The Gaucho record, 48 yards by Guy Johnson against San Diego City in 1980. And let's see, this one they should call a 49-yarder. 49-yarder. Rutkowski, it's set, it's up. It's good.
There's your All-American.
Tracy Rutkowski, a 49-yard record field goal. And I believe that ties the Pony Bowl record, or is 1 yard short, 50 yards set by Rick Frank a year ago. 17-7. So a great decision by the Gauchos. They put out the kicking machine, and he puts 3 points across. Rutkowski now 19 of 24 in 1985. And we would imagine some people looking at that young man, too, for the four-year schools. Rick Frank, of course, the young man we were talking about. All-American last year for the Hornets with 92 points scored. Went to Iowa State, and they're really happy to have him in the state of Iowa.
Thinking about Rutkowski, he's only missed an extra point here in 2 years, just one. He was 36 of 37 in the regular season. He made all 16 last year. So that consistency from the extra point spot, and also field goals that kicked a 42-yarder in last year's Pony Bowl.
7 seconds to go. Rutkowski will set it up at the 40-yard line. We may see a squibber here to try to eliminate any chances of a run back for the Hornets. Back deep for Fullerton College, Reggie Brown, number 20, and Phil Garabedian. And Rutkowski, in really kind of a turnaround situation, the Hornets driving for the tying score, couldn't come up with it. And again, the quarterback fumble turned into points by the Gauchos. 5 seconds to go, and he does. Squibs it along the ground. Big hop. Reggie Brown picks it up. The freshman from Buena Park has a hole. Reggie stays on his feet and will go down at the 35-yard line. And 2 seconds remain. Nope, they keep it going. The end of the first half of play. The Saddleback Gauchos 17-7 over the Hornets. And David, we had some word on Mike Zorn that he had a sore ankle. They're going to check it. During the halftime, he may be able to come back. That's good news.
That's good news. It's kind of frightening. They haven't used the card all year. You look at, possibly broken leg or ligament damage in the ankle or something like that. But to know it's a possible sprained ankle, he could be back in there and keep that alternating quarterback plan going for the second half.
And the officials have said there's a flag down on the field. And I believe we're going to have to do this all over again. It is against Saddleback. Fullerton has a choice of what they want to do here. Time has expired, so I don't think they can take the ball at the 36, but they may be able to make Saddleback kick it one more time. So why not, huh?
On the kickoff against Saddleback, a 5-yard penalty. We will have a re-kick.
Well, for all intents and purposes, this half is over.
And it'll take a long run back for a touchdown by Garabedian or Brown.
I don't think the Hornets are going to run over a Tuber player and get in the end zone.
We may see, indeed, just an onside kick. That'll use up the time because there's no time left on the clock. First time it's touched, it expires. Saddleback leads it 17-7, the 5th annual Pony Bowl. And the Hornets' turnovers have been the culprit in the first half of play. Only been able to put up 7 points. Rutkowski does squib it. Touch by the Gauchos, touch by the Hornets, and finally recovered. Let's see who has it. It really doesn't matter, just in case the statistics are part of it. The Hornets picked it up. Sam Tuatasia, number 86, but that does it. First half of play is over. The 1985 Pony Bowl, the Hornets trail it 17-7. The Gauchos, behind the 49-yard record-setting field goal by Rutkowski, go up by 17-7 score. David, any quick thoughts?
Well, we had the teams moving the ball for the field very well between the 20s, although turnovers really played a big part of it, especially for the Hornets side, fumbling exchanges from center and Zorn fumbling to enable the Gauchos to put the field goal on that puts that deficit at 10. Second half, I don't think you really need to change your game plan very much. Short, intermediate passes, utilize John for 100 yards, and possibly we could have another turnabout just like last year coming into the second half of play. And also, I guess, of course, is the Pony Bowl, right? Named because of Pony Sports.
Pony Shoes.
And we have a representative of Pony Shoes, Bob Evans, and a wonderful conversation.
Welcome back to halftime, the 1985 Pony Bowl. Lon Brunk, and we have Bob Evans here, the regional manager on the West Coast for Pony Shoes and the sponsor, of course, of the Orange County Pony Bowl. And Bob, thanks for coming up and talking to us about this game. How you like the first half?
Well, it's been a great game, and we're really happy to have 2 teams that are nationally ranked, and you can't ask for a better football game.
And a great day, and this is a pretty nice-looking crowd. Record 6,000 may be approaching that.
I would think that we're going to be pretty close to it today. This is, I think, our second year in a row at this facility, and I think an afternoon game has made it what works for us.
The real good break. Other seasons are kind of over. They're waiting for the January Bowls to come up, and the JC Bowls are falling nicely in the line here. You've got a good matchup, Saddleback and Fullerton.
Well, we're hoping that the winner here is going to be crowned a national championship, and we're looking forward to that.
Now, Bob, you're in charge, of course, of the sponsorship of the Pony Bowl, and there's some other people, selection committee people, who help you out, and I believe you have another representative from Pony who flew off for today.
Yeah, we had Tom Olinga, who was on the West Coast here for Pony for some 5 years, and he thought it was important enough to come out from Memphis today to watch the ball game and renew some old acquaintances.
Keith Calkins, AD at Saddleback College, working very hard this year, along with Dave DeBerry, Carl Sawyer, and a few other folks on the selection committee. They've done a nice job.
Well, I think the selection committee has done a great job, and Keith has worked I don't know how many hours on putting this thing together and making sure everything was right, making sure the kids are going to be happy when the game's over, and putting together little packages for halftime and things like that.
This is arguably the best bowl game matchup in the state of California right now. You've got Santa Rosa and Merced up north, and
right.
This has got to be 2 and 3 in the state. Many people feel the winner of this game should be #1 in the state, and if snow goes down, the JC out of Utah, they fall in their bowl. As you said, the winner may be crowned #1.
Yeah, we think so, and I would guess that if one of the two teams really has a good showing here in the second half and can pull away a little bit, that they probably would end up #1 in the state of California.
Well, how do you see the future of the Pony Bowl? It's coming along. It's getting some recognition, a little bit more ink each year. Do you see a nice, healthy future?
I think it's progressing just the way we would like to do it. We have a commitment to community college athletics in California. If some people would remember back, 6 or 7 years ago, we started sponsoring the basketball tournament when there were no funds available at all, and we did that for 3 years, and we've been doing the Pony Bowl now for 5. And our whole idea is to have a long-term commitment to community college athletics and to the Pony Bowl.
And we know the fans out there who follow JC football and basketball and so on, they thank you, and we want to say thanks to you and all your folks for putting on the 1985 edition.
All right, we'll see you next year.
Bob Evans, the regional manager of the West Coast for Pony Shoes, up here to talk with us. Dave Lewis will be coming back in here with us and talking about the stats and other things. Halftime score, Fullerton behind 17-7. The Gauchos, on the strength of a record-setting 49-yard field goal from Tracy Rutkowski, go up 17-7. And David, the turnover is a real factor. 4 for the Hornets in the first half.
Well, nothing really tragic. Essentially, just mishandling snaps is what really killed them. Overall, the passing attack, Jason Schmidt well on his way to another 300-yard day, 153 yards total offense, and 242 overall. The turnovers 4, which is just outstandingly terrible for them. If you turn over the ball 4 times, you're not going to win a football game. Normally for an entire game, and especially one half of football. The Gauchos 2 turnovers, Jason Schmidt picked off, and the penalties, the Gauchos have not been penalized nearly as much as Fullerton this year. 7 for 52. The Hornets 4 for 28. So the turnovers are a big key. The Hornets put up the real only drive in the first half, 81 yards for their touchdown. The Gauchos a 30-yarder. They kicked the 49-yard field goal by Rutkowski. Other than that, they really haven't done that much with the football, moving the ball between the 20s, but not really able to punch it in.
Well, the Hornets, 187 yards in total offense, David. As you said, they have been able to move the ball. Mike Zorn, who went out injured on that last fumble for the Hornets, and we guessed that maybe he could come back, but further indications are that it looks very, very doubtful that he'll be back in the second half of play.
I doubt if you bruise an ankle and you go off on a cart that you'll come back. I really have to believe that the injury is a little more severe than that he won't play anymore. Hopefully on the Hornets side he will, but that's seriously doubtful. I think you'll see Richard Williams the remainder of the football game.
17-7, the Gauchos up over the Hornets. They are losers in the first 2 meetings between these two squads. Right now they're up 17-7. They were up last year 7-0 and looked really like they had the game in hand before that last drive by the Hornets. And of course all Hornet fans will remember that long drive. Kenny Nash involved, Charles Ray, a pass interference call, and finally the pass from Mal to Ray Skinner for the winner.
Well, they've had just a heartbreaking luck here. The Gauchos played in every one of these darn things, and they've only won one. They beat San Diego Mesa 13-12 the first year, and they got blown out by Fullerton in 82, 38-6. Losing to Cerritos, they were crushed in that game, 38-7, 34-7, and then losing last year. So they really feel snake bitten. A chance for them to finally break through. You know, they go through the Mission Conference. They've won 22 straight conference games, 9 straight conference titles, and their ability or inability to come through in the postseason is something that hurt them. They really want to break through and establish themselves as a national powerhouse that wins postseason games.
All right, you're Richard Williams. You didn't have a good first half.
If I'm
Mike Zorn goes out.
I don't want to go back in.
You've got to come in and lead this team. They're down by 10.
I tell you, he looks enthused. Now, you're only down 10. Get up. You're not out of the football game.
He's just saving his energy. He's ready to go. Richard Williams has to be thinking. He's gone in there the last 2 times he's touched the ball. Only for a split second he fumbles. Saddleback gets it. They convert into points. The Hornets trail 17-7. Now he's got to come back in. There's got to be some mental work going on up there.
Well, we talked about him yesterday and with him about certain things, and we mentioned Tom Doherty fumbling the snaps in the Rancho Santiago game and kids getting down on themselves. He puts that stuff out of his mind. He really believes in getting that positive attitude, quitting it out of your mind and going on to the next thing. You can't reflect and correct something that's already gone wrong. You simply have to look forward, and that's something that's going to have to get him through the second half. Apparently, it'll be on his shoulders.
Some individual stats for the Hornets, who trail 17-7. John Green, 66 yards on 13 attempts, and that's after starting off very poorly. Some negative yardage in his first 3 or 4 carries. Hankins with 28 yards. With the passing end, 0 for 2 for Richard Williams. And Zorn was having a great afternoon, 7 of 10 for 77 yards before he went down with the ankle injury. Receiving for the Hornets, Hankins a leading receiver with 2, along with Rich Rollins. Hankins 33 yards, Rollins with 14. Saddleback, they have 17 points, a touchdown by Youngkite, a touchdown by Fickling, and a 49-yard field goal by Tracy Rutkowski. Fickling, 22 yards rushing. Youngkite has, well, we have 10 yards for him. Schmid with 36 yards. That's the rushing, but the passing has been the big thing, David. 12 of 20, 156 yards for Jason Schmid, and the phone continues to ring.
Average day at the office for him.
Mersola, 3 catches for 63 yards. How about that average of 21? Tony Palomera averaging 11 yards per catch this afternoon. He has 4 catches for 44. Fickling with 2, Youngkite with 2. So, as always, Schmid passing it around, giving it just about everybody's had a chance to handle the ball.
Sharing the wealth, that's something the Gauchos have done. They don't have one outstanding receiver that they continue to go through. We saw Anthony Miller, who was as good as anybody we've seen this year, the lone threat for Pasadena. They have just a fine, talented core, as deep as any receiving core the Gauchos believe they've had in recent years here. And they believe in distributing the ball amongst them.
Now, the Hornets won the coin flip at the beginning of the game. They elected to defer at that point so they could have a choice here in the second half of play. And right now, they're on the field, lining up on the left-hand side, and the Hornet crowd stands. They're still with their group. They trail 17-7. The Gauchos will kick it off to the Hornets. And these teams have had some common opponents in 1985, David.
Well, when you look into bowl games, you like to compare a lot of things, stats and things, but also who they played. And they've played 3 teams. Fullerton played Rancho Santiago, a.k.a. Santa Ana College. Orange Coast and El Camino, they're 2-1 against them. Lost to Santa Ana 27-24 the first game of the season. Against those same common opponents, Saddleback is 3-0. They knocked off Santa Ana 39-32. They said they won ugly that game, though. They still escaped with a win. And another conference championship. Orange Coast 27-15. The only game they scored under 30 the entire season. And wiping out El Camino 48-14. The Hornets struggle against those Warriors 35-28.
That sets the stage. We're about ready to get underway. Second half of play. Rutkowski boots it very deep. Reggie Brown takes it, fumbles it into the end zone, and he'll down it right there. The Hornets will take over at the 20-yard line. Richard Williams, number 12. All the pressure on the young freshman's shoulders right now. Mike Zorn, not an official report, but up to this point, we would guess that we're not going to see the sophomore from Irvine anymore. We do see him on the bench down there with the trainers, talking to Kurt Lofgren and a few other Hornets, but he doesn't seem to be too secure on that ankle right now. Williams in at the quarterback position, number 12. Sendejas, the fullback, as he did in the beginning of the game, starting for the Hornets. First and 10, they trail at 17-7. Sendejas in motion, and Williams back to throw. Fakes one side, goes to Green. Green can't get away from Jay Wilkerson.
What a read, I tell you.
Whew. A block was missed, but credit that to Jay Wilkerson. He shed the block, got through to John Green, a loss of 6 yards, second down and 16. An inauspicious beginning for the Hornet offense.
Well, teams that pursue well, like the Gauchos, they like to fake the screen one way and come back another. And that time Wilkerson stayed home. He wasn't going for the fake one-sided John Green. Came back the other way and made an outstanding tackle. We see why he's one of the great linebackers in this Gaucho team.
Williams can lead the Hornets from behind. He's a 62% passer, 1,173 yards in 1985. So he can put it up, no question about it. Movement by the Hornets. And Williams drops the snap again, but falls back down on it. Number 3 for Richard Williams. And he's got to be looking at his hands to see if there's any substance left on there. Maybe some oil or something. Now he takes a long walk into the end zone. He's a little team meeting with himself, so to speak. Reggie Brown Carlos and Dejas in. Hankins and Green out. Third down and very long right now. 18 yards to go. They started this drive, the opening kickoff here, back at the 20-yard line. Now they're at the 12. Third down and 18. Very dangerous place to be passing the ball. Snap is clean. Over the middle. Grimm with the ball. He can't get away from Roman, though. Roman wrestles him down at the 23-yard line. Aaron Grimm on a crossing pattern, and really all it does is give the Hornets a little more room to punt it away. So the Gaucho defense played solidly, but some of that ineptitude by the Hornets.
Well, you can give a lot of cushion when you're 3rd and 18. That time they conceded Grimm coming across the middle and Roman making the tackle, but 3rd and 18, they weren't going to give up anything deep. They were concede the short stuff underneath.
Madrigal for his second punt of the afternoon. Jeff Beelman waits at his 37-yard line. Madrigal gets away, a shank off to the right side. That'll be a short one, maybe to the 50-yard line. 28-yard punt and a poor effort by Gus Madrigal, and really no pressure whatsoever. 27 yards officially, and the Gauchos with great field position. They lead at 17-7.
Big position to hurt, really not put the game out of reach, but the Hornets would love to start the second half, come out and assert something offensively. They kick the ball with the Gauchos in outstanding field position, and Jason no-huddle Schmidt back there getting the Gauchos rolling once again.
Masolo split to the left. Pierce to the top of the screen. Lone back. Roger Pickling. The ball loose again. 74. Ray McCormick is on it, but I believe we have a dual possession with Jason Schmidt, who went right back down to it. So everybody knew the snap count, I think, that time, except Rodney Leota. He's the only one that didn't do it at the right time. No flags down. It's just kind of a strange-looking play.
The thing is about him not knowing it, he's the guy that's snapping the football, so it causes a lot of problems.
It's nice if he has an idea what the number is. Hal Scherbeck looking for win number 200. Schmidt, 2nd and 10, back to throw and rolls to the right. Has a man open. Mersola brings it down inside the 45 to the 44-yard line. And a flag. That'll be personal foul against the Hornets. Sean Robertson with a little extracurricular activity, and that doesn't make coaches happy. No need there.
And Sean really trotted out of there nonchalantly. He did it in the Gaucho bench, and when you commit a personal foul, shoving someone out of bounds on their sideline, you want to get out of there and hurry. And Sean just strapped that helmet on and trotted back on the field, but he knew he was guilty.
Well, the Gauchos would have had a 3rd and 5, and the Hornets obviously with a chance to stall their drive right now, but this is going to be a long one, 15 yards. That'll move it inside to 30, just about the 29-yard line. First downs, Gauchos.
Have a dead ball, personal foul against Fullerton, first down.
Well, the Gauchos were penalized in the first half more than Fullerton, but on the season, the Hornets minus 470 yards in penalty yardage, and that's just tremendous, giving teams that many chances to keep drives sustained.
It's a few football fields, huh? 1st and 10. Second back, Youngkite. Youngkite hurdles the first man. Cannot get away from Terry Page, and another flag goes flying. John Vanderstay, number 15 in there. Tom Matthews, 67. And there's some discussion with the sophomore of the Saddleback Gauchos, Mark Frederick, 63. Let's see who this one's called against. This one may go against Saddleback. Frederick, 63, got mixed up with Matthews, 67. It depends on who did it first, I guess, and who got caught doing it. If so, this is going to be the second personal foul against the Hornets. Halfway to the goal line, should take the ball about the 13-yard line. It does. Hal Scherbeck on the sideline, and he's incensed.
Personal against Fullerton, first down.
30 yards in personal fouls on this drive. A drive that started on the 50. So the Hornet defense helping out right now the Saddleback cause. They lead at 17-7. Third period of play. The Gauchos from the 13, 1st and 10. Youngkite in the slot to the bottom of your screen. Fake by Schmidt, and he'll keep it. Good block to the outside. Schmidt to the flag. Touchdown. Jason Schmidt, 13-yard TD dash. Saddleback taking it away right now. They lead at 23-7.
We can take another look at that. Wide receiver came in through an outstanding crackback block to free Jason to the outside. And the Gauchos only getting 22 of the yards on this drive on their own merits. The other 30 by a penalty.
So Rutkowski trying to make it 24-7. Holder, number 14, Joe Francis. It's down, kick away, and good. 24-7. 12 minutes, 7 seconds to go. Third period of play. The Gauchos up by 17 points. So they take their first possession in the second half, and really, as you said, Dave, only marched it 20 yards. The Hornets gave them 30 of them on penalties, personal fouls. Fullerton back by 17 right now. We'll take a look at it again, David. Good block.
Design option all the way. Now the wide receiver, and he's out of our screen right there, seals him. And Zuniga's the only one that can catch him, but doesn't have that speed like Jason does to the corner. Schmidt up in that Gaucho lead.
Good block by number 80, Alvin Pierce, to free Jason Schmidt. Schmidt takes a 13-yarder for the touchdown, and the Gauchos up 24-7. Can the Hornets come back? A shaky beginning here in the second half of play. 12 minutes, 7 seconds to go. Third period of play. Plenty of time. Don't go away yet. Don't fold the tent and move down to another city. Hornet fans a little bit stunned here on the home side here, LaBarge Stadium, as Tracy Rutkowski sets it up and ready to go. Hornets only score 14-yard fake field goal. Dean Hankins took it in from the 3-yard line. This time Phil Garabedian. Garabedian with blockers up front, but he cannot get away from number 50, Mark McGrath. Garabedian takes it back to the 22-yard line, an 18-yard return, and the Hornets started again, trailing by 17 points, and they really need to establish for themselves that they can do something of a positive nature, Dave.
Gauchos are really taking it to him right now, and you see the momentum, and you can really get the feeling on the Gaucho sideline that they have things going their way, and the momentum, and the Hornets side, you can sense that discouragement and the need to get something going, almost desperation at this point.
Williams at the helm to John Green. Green off the right side with Anderson a lead block. Green fights over the 25 to the 27-yard line. Aaron Grimm out there blocking on Alan Roman. Tackle made by number 27, Jeff Kelly of the Gauchos. So the Hornets come up with a gain of 5, second down and 5, and they're not going to catch up, we would not believe, unless they can put the ball in the air. And right now they haven't shown an ability to do that consistently, although Mike Zorn had a pretty good first half, 7 of 10 before he went down. Second and 5, split backs for the Hornets and Richard Williams. Williams to Hankins. Hankins fights over that right side again. Fine tackle made by number 23, Mike Hoffman. And along with number 93, Greg Conrad from the defensive tackle position. How about that, coming from the defensive line position to come out and stop a sweep off the right side.
Gaucho showing a new look. They've gone essentially with a 3-4 most of the season, playing 4 down linemen and going with 3 linebackers.
Third down and about 2. Ball, nose of it, right at the 30-yard line. The Hornets have got to establish something. Could be a big play for the Gaucho defense. Williams back to throw, has a man. Rollins, a first down. Rollins spins away, knocked out of bounds by Wilkerson. First down, the Hornets at the 35-yard line. One thing we know, Richard Williams can throw the football. They just haven't sent it long downfield. Would you expect a 1st and 10 play for them to go up top?
Haven't seen many drop-back passes at all. The stuff we've seen from Zorn, rolling out, throwing stuff, option pass or run. Very little play action, dropping deep with a 4 or 5 step drop back that Williams is capable of doing and throwing downfield.
The Hornets need some lightning in a bottle, perhaps the same bottle that generated the no-huddle offense. Ball to John Green on a counter, and he will go nowhere. Yepi Pau says, hello, John. A loss of 2, back to the 33-yard line. 24-7 the score. We'll be back in a moment with more Hornet football after this brief pause for a tape change by your local cable channel. Calvary Chapel of Brea invites you to tune in Monday night at 7 for a very special service. Featured will be a piano concert by Albert McAllister.
Pastor Dave Berg will deliver his
reality of God's divine grace working in your life today. And we can better understand that by looking back at the history of God and how he worked with a nation who rebelled against him through unbelief. And there we see, and then we see a work, by the time we get into chapters 10 and chapter 11, a work of divine grace that will actually restore and rebuild the nation of Israel.
That's next Monday night at 7 on Century Cable, Channel 3.
The Irvine Company, long associated with the growth and the finest in Orange County, is pleased to be a major underwriter of Hornet football. The Irvine Company and Fullerton College, synonymous with the winning tradition that is Orange County. Production funding in part for Hornet football has been provided by the Quarterback Club of Fullerton College. The Quarterback Club congratulates the team, coaching staff, and Fullerton College in this, the 25th year of exciting Hornet football under the guidance of head coach Hal Scherbeck.
Back here at Labard Stadium, the 5th annual Pony Bowl, the Saddleback Gauchos lead it 24-7. Lon Brunk, Dave Lewis for you on the Fullerton College Television Network. Play action fake. Ball slapped away by Jay Wilkerson on the 2nd down and 10. Jay Wilkerson and Williams had a man open in Aaron Grimm. So the Hornets just not able to generate anything consistently right now with Richard Williams. 3rd and 11. And maybe too early to say it, Dave, but you just because of the momentum factor, it appears that this could be a very big play for the Hornets.
I'm sensing a little bit of desperation on the Hornets side to get something going. You're not out of the ball game by any stretch of the imagination, but at this point you need to get something going, and they've been really stymied so far throughout this contest.
Right now the sun in the back of the Hornets, but as the receivers look back, they look right back into that sun setting in the west. Williams back to throw, 3rd down and 11. Plenty of time. Goes over the middle to Reggie Brown, and Reggie has it. Brown stays on his feet inside the 45. 1st down Hornets. Whew. How about that big play? Reg hasn't caught too many. 1985. 4 for 34 yards. That is his longest of the year by a long stretch.
There's your lightning in a bottle.
And the lightning almost got away. Take a look at it again, Dave.
If you can see it in this glare, Richard Williams dropping straight back to the deep drop we were talking about that they haven't executed, firing on a line, zone coverage, Reggie Brown electrifying, getting across the middle in front of the safety to make the catch.
Williams has the Hornets moving inside the 45, 44-yard line of the Gauchos. And all kinds of movement by the Hornets. 73, Santiago Lopez looks like he took off a little bit early. Actually looked like the whole line moved before Johnny Katnick, the honorable mention All-American, snapped the ball to Richard Williams. That'll cost the Hornets 5. They'll move it back to the 49-yard line.
Dead ball foul, false start on Fullerton. Still 1st down.
Dave, when we saw that replay, it reminded me earlier I said something about replays. Did you know back at December 7th, the same date in 1963, the very first instant replay, the Army-Navy game that year?
You're kidding.
And I saw it. I was real young, though. Williams to Hankins, tipped up by Wilkerson, but it gets to Dean Hankins, and he catches it. Back to the original line of scrimmage, gain of 5, the 2nd down and 10. That was a fortuitous bounce, so to speak, for the Hornets, David. As
Not only that,
Hankins
but it was
right
lucky, too.
Take a look at it again.
I think it was 93 who got the hands on it, and yes, it was. That would have been Greg Conrad who got the hand on it. And still had enough steam on it to get to Hankins for the catch.
2nd down and 10. The Hornets trail by 17, 24-7. Trying to get some points on the board here, make this thing a little respectable. They can make a rush perhaps in the 4th quarter. Williams under pressure. He'll go down, throws it away, but they're going to say he was in the grasp right there. 40, Yepi Pau'u. 93, Greg Conrad. And 91, Neil Wallner in on the attack. And that's really the first time that they've really gotten to the Hornet quarterback. Richard just not able to get to the outside. That was a roll to the right that never got quite rolling. So I don't know if they're going to call that an incomplete pass. They are. Boy, that's fortunate.
The Gaucho fans don't like it a bit.
Who was he throwing to? I didn't remember seeing anybody on that side.
Hal Scherbeck was the closest one.
Scherbeck was wide
resembling
open.
a Hornet.
He was wide open on the sidelines. Caught it on the first bounce. Green goes to his slot position, top of the screen, third period action. The Hornets, 3rd down and 10. Williams back to throw and falls down. Richard having a nightmare afternoon. Back at the 50, a loss of 5. That'll bring up 4th down. And Richard Williams just not having anything resembling the Richard Williams we saw in 1985.
Just lost his footing. You got to wonder if it's nerves. A couple fumbles earlier in the ball game. It all seems to be crumbling for the Hornets in the 3rd quarter.
Back deep, Jeff Beelman. Madrigal, his last punt, only a 27-yarder. Pressure this time. He gets off a high, short one. Beelman will fair catch it at the 17-yard line. Williams walked over to Hal Scherbeck, and Coach Scherbeck not screaming down there, just giving some words of comfort. Looks at him with that Hal Scherbeck look, and I'm sure got the point across.
That look, huh?
Kind of like shake yourself loose, guy. And Williams dons the headset, starts talking up here to Marv Sampson, calling the plays down here, the offensive quarterback and wide receivers coach for the Hornets. Schmidt and the Gauchos come up. They lead it 24-7. 7:44 to go, 3rd period of play. Schmidt and the Gauchos may elect to keep it on the ground. This time they go to Youngkite. He's up to the 20, a gain of 3. They will huddle and they will run the ball, David, when they're ahead. Right now they're ahead by 17, but they're still going with the no-huddle offense. Of course, huddling eats up a little more time.
They use their 2-minute offense, 58 minutes of the game, and they huddle for the last 2 to run out the clock.
Somehow it got all backwards, and the Register had a great story on that no-huddle offense. Swearingen and Vince McCullough up in Canada with a bottle of cognac, and I guess the idea brewed to the top, huh?
Among other things.
Flags fly. Schmidt under pressure, steps up inside it, wants to go long, and incomplete, almost picked off by Willie Mack. Schmidt takes a solid hit from Chris Stately, and he's down. Gets up a little gingerly, but looks to be all right. Offsides against the Hornets. Well, we talked about the penalties being a factor in the Hornet games all year long, and in the second half, we've seen that come into play.
The last touchdown drive exactly mirroring that statement. 30 yards and unsportsmanlike conduct penalties, and the offsides here wiping out an incomplete pass.
So offside against Fullerton, 2nd down.
Instead of a 3rd down and 6, a 2nd down and 1 for the Gauchos. And when you're up by 17, you'll take every break you can get. Of course, when you're down by that, you've got to play solid all the way up and down the line. And giving up any yardage to a great team like Saddleback, a team that averages 380 yards a game, 87 to be exact. Schmidt gives it to the first back through Fickling, and he busts into the secondary. Fickling, ball loose. Picked up by the Hornets for a minute, but the Gauchos recover.
How can you believe it?
Willie Mack couldn't quite get the handle, and the Gauchos picked the ball up in a long gain. Willie had it bounce back right up into his hands, but I believe the Gauchos recovered the ball. Willie trying to run with it. 63, Mark Frederick, the left guard on the Gaucho team. Boy, he was down there about 20 yards that time picking up the loose football. Take a look at
up
it,
the middle, losing the handle, and you can't really fault Willie Mack. It bounced right into his hands, and he just simply couldn't hang on to it. Here comes the eager Gaucho getting on the football. When it goes your way, just pours, isn't it?
Well, you make things happen. They say luck is the residue of design, and that time Frederick at the right spot at the right time. Schmidt back to throw. Pressure from Zuniga. He goes down and throws it incomplete. Zuniga and Stately. The first time, really, that Dave has had a chance to get in there. He leads the Hornets in quarterback sacks, 4 of them in 1985, and he was pumped up to say the least yesterday. The defense has played fairly well. Turnovers by the Hornets have hurt. Schmidt, 209 yards in total offense, 160 passing. Woo. Quite an athlete. Second down and 10. From the 47-yard line, the Gauchos. Smid in trouble. Smid, the ball taken away. Vega, he'll go all the way. Touchdown, Fullerton.
Not even that makes Hal Scherbeck smile at this point.
.45, Ben Vega, there he is. The sophomore from Nordhoff just stripped the ball away from Jason Smid and took it in for a touchdown. How much yards it was, I don't know. I think it was about 40 yards. How many yards? Unbelievable. How about that for a turnaround?
You don't call it a fumble, do you?
That's a takeaway if you ever call a takeaway. The Hornets, Todd Reynolds runs out. We'll have that instant replay for you. Steve Harris calls up and tells us. Do not go away, folks. Tommy Duarte in the hold. So at the 6:16 mark, Ben Vega comes up with one of the more strange types of plays you're ever going to see. A 45-yarder. Ball blocked. Blocked by Yepi Pau, and that may be a very big block of the extra point.
Need 2 touchdowns at this point.
But the Hornets may still be stunned by what was going on there. 24-13. Hornets trail it by 11. And here we see it, Jason Smid going back to throw.
Now, Jason Smid in big trouble here. You don't see him look confused very often, but he did, and he scrambles, and Ben Vega comes in and says, look at this. I'm taking it right out of your hands. Like a guy stealing his wallet. There he goes off to the races, and Jason Smid chasing after him.
6 feet, 200-pound sophomore backing up Zuniga and Stately and Menches. But he's had a great season. He's not really a backup. 2.5 quarterback sacks, and I guess you got to call it a fumble.
Call it what you want.
No other terminology. Got to be a way to explain how it went from one to the other. Ben just reached in there and picked Jason Smid's pocket. Took it 45 yards. Well, you stick around long enough, I guess you get a chance to see everything. Now, Hal Scherbeck had 199 victories. How about this for number 200 if he wins this, huh?
Unbelievable. Had that first one 25 years ago, upset Cerritos. They were heavy underdogs then. Here we go 25 years later, pulling out some magic, back in the hunt.
Quincy Frank, Alvin Pierce back, waiting. Dan Sobowski's kickoff, a short one. They're trying to get it to Pierce, and they do at the 4-yard line. Pierce has room on the outside, but he's knocked down by the Hornets special team. Garabedian in there, along with number 51, Jim Joseph. Well, let's see what that does to the momentum of this game, Dave. 6 minutes and 19 seconds to go, third period of play. Hornets trail it by 11, 24-13. Of course, that block PAT puts the Hornets in a position where they have to score 2 touchdowns instead of a touchdown and a field goal. Of course, with a 2-point conversion in the college game, you get a chance. If they have a chance to tie it up with a 2-pointer, they might elect to go for that. Smid got to be a little bit shocked realizing what happened to him. He's back to throw. Smid finds Young Kite out of the backfield. Young Kite tackled by Vanderstay in Glima and ridden out of bounds along with Sean Robertson, number 22. And how about Sean Robertson going out with an injury and coming back and having this kind of a game?
Playing outstanding, and to show what kind of respect the Hornets have for Jason Smid. They still have 6 defensive backs in there, even before when they're down 17 points.
Gain of 7, second down and 3 for the Gauchos. Smid sends Mersola to the bottom of your screen. Pierce to the top. Young Kite, a slot back with Fickling, the remaining back. Hornets move. No contact made. Smid gives to Fickling. Fickling gets into the secondary and a first down up to the 35-yard line. An excellent back, and he's only a freshman. 6'3", 210 pounds. Out of San Clemente. 525 yards on the year. Not a big average of 3.9, but then again, they're not a rushing team.
They only average 2.9 a carry, so that 3 is outstanding compared to what the rest of the Gauchos do, but he doesn't get a lot of big yards. He gets the short stuff. They love to use him near the goal line. Good straight-ahead runner, and not a lot of fancy stuff when he's in the ball game.
First and 10 Gauchos from a 36. Give to Young Kite. Young Kite pops to the outside, but Stately has him and won't let him go. 59, Chris Stately, sophomore out of Irvine. And he's been effective all year long. We heard it earlier in the year. A lot of people do things to get their positive self-esteem and positive attitude developed. And I guess he was going to a hypnotist, trying to get things going. That's not unusual. And I want to know who the hypnotist was. I'm going there next week. Chris has had a great year. 6'1", 223, and plays with a lot of emotion. Second down and 12. Smid keeps it, gets back about 5 yards, and a lot of Hornets, along with Tim McKee in there to make the tackle. Now they pretty much solved the quarterback draw, the Fullerton College Hornets have, but the Gauchos keep it in there to keep them honest with the play because Smid's just such a great athlete. Once he breaks loose, he can go. He has a long of 45 and a TD this year rushing. 3 TDs actually, so he knows what to do with it.
Exactly right. Even in a passing situation, he can get that 5, 6, 7 yards on his own, running the quarterback draw or rolling out. So it does keep a defense from just pinning their ears back and just teeing off on it.
3rd and 7 from the 38. Big play for the Hornet defense. Smid back to throw. Smid gets it away, and Palomera has the ball and stays on his feet. Palomera, ball stripped away by Malstead, and he has it.
Oh, my goodness.
Flag on the play. And I believe they're calling roughing the passer against the Hornets. How do you do? A great individual effort by Jeff Malstead, number 7. Now he's got to go back out there and play defense, and the Hornets, the penalties killing them one more time.
That would have been a complete momentum turnaround.
As we've seen in many, many games, the Hornet defense triggers the momentum for the Hornet team. And here's the replay.
We'll see
if we
who
get
gets the shot, who gets Jason Schmidt. Keith Minches does it, but watch Palomara. He's shaking and baking right here, says, I'm not done cooking yet. Malstead turns off the oven, then bounces on the football. All for naught, though, roughing the passer, keeps the Gaucho drive alive.
Well, it looked like Minches just pushed him. Didn't look like Minches never really went to the ground. Just reached out and gave him a little push.
That's what they call a delivery sack in the biz.
I'll tell you, that delivered 15 yards. And talk about a turnaround, that's one right there. Official timeout. They're going to come over and discuss it right now. Jim Patterson says he wants to check things out. Hal Scherbeck and his staff are a little bit irritated on the sideline, and Jim Patterson's going to tell them to move the boys back, keep everybody back 3 or 4 yards so we can get this chain gang. The chain gang has to wear shoes, pony shoes probably, to keep things moving up and down the sideline.
Just keep that propaganda rolling, huh?
I'll tell you, Malstead, what a great play, though. Even though it doesn't count, for him to reach around and strip the ball, knowing that he's the last defender, too. If he doesn't get it, Palomera may go a long way.
And then making the recovery on top of it.
But the Gauchos, they've taken good fortune and turned it their way all day long. They lead it 24-13, and Smid goes back. Zuniga after him. Zuniga can't get to him. A completed pass to Mersola. And a penalty. That probably will be face mask. The yellow flags costing the Hornets yards after yards. And that one may be a face mask call by Willie Mack, number 4. I believe that's a good call. Looked like Willie reached up there and grabbed the mask on the way down.
Grabbing the helmet.
It wasn't a flagrant run, so they only penalized him 5 yards.
Yeah.
Momentum is such an overused terminology in sports, but for Vega to strip the ball and go the other way, and then the Hornets not to get a turnover. If Saddleback can march it in now and get any kind of points at all,
Did you get a number?
it's a momentum play for them.
So you really question that roughing the passer call, too. Because Minches really didn't make that much contact after the ball was thrown.
So the Hornets have almost given up a football field in penalties, 88 yards. Some of the Hornets on the sideline waiting to see what's going to happen in the 5th annual Pony Bowl. Saddleback leads it 24-13, and Smid off the left side. What a great runner. Ball loose. I believe they're going to call it dead. That's a good call. He was already down. Ball set on the tackle along with Mench's 96. But you just can't really defense Jason Smid. He can do everything and do it well. Goes to the outside, runs up the middle well. Of course, we know what he can do throwing the ball, 2,483 yards. Second down, a gain of 8 for Jason.
Ideally, you'd like to keep him in the pocket, and then when you do, he just does the quarterback draw and runs up the middle. So just pick your way you want to lose with Jason Schmidt.
Jason's been a target all year long, and running you take a lot of abuse too as a quarterback. Give off to Fickling. Fickling stopped at the line of scrimmage. Chris Stately right there, number 59. Sean Robertson, 22. Tommy Matthews, 67. And Dave Zuniga, 66. Yeah, the only one who wasn't there, Willie Mack, and he was covering a wide receiver.
Well, they're playing 4 safeties at this point, going with 6 defensive backs, but they're using Malstead and Vanderstay, Garabedian, along with Robertson. And although they're safeties, they're tough kids. They hit like linebackers. They come to the line of scrimmage, they'll take a running back head on.
That'll bring up a measurement here. It looks a little bit short, but they're going to bring it out. We have an official's timeout. The clock continued to run while all of this was going on. I think the officials just forgot to wave their arms. First down, yes it is, for the Gauchos at the 21-yard line. Now Jason Schmidt has to look right into that sun, but he's going to have it at his back. Now David is at a disadvantage for the receiver or the quarterback more. Although he's looking into the sun, his receivers are looking at it, and as they turn around, the sun's in the back of their helmet.
It's more of a disadvantage for the receivers because the quarterback and the receivers know where the play is going to be designed at. The idea is just to catch the thing after it gets there, and we're looking into it from where we're sitting right here, and it's hard for us to see looking into the sun the action is taking place out there. So for Jason Schmidt, he knows where the players are going to be running, so he can direct his passes in that area, although he may have some problem with the glare in the secondary, watching where the defensive backs are at. But just to catch the football in this condition is very difficult, so it's obviously from here more difficult to catch than to throw.
So the Hornet receivers will have that sun really at their back as they turn around looking for the football in the fourth quarter. Right now, Schmidt and the Gauchos trying to rack up some more points. They lead at 24-13. Number 21, Jason Schmidt back to throw, going for the corner, and Glima there. Pierce pushes off and catches it for a touchdown. Tommy and Glima is incensed, and he should be. Pierce reached over with the right hand and pushed Tommy and Glima away and caught the football. No call.
Boy, did they get away with one there that time.
Woo! They got a free one that time, really. You could see that all the way up here. Even the XSID of Fullerton College saw Terry Hutchins. Tommy and Glima just steaming over there at the back of the end zone. I don't know if we have a replay, but if we do, we'll show it to you. Our camera's looking into the teeth of that sun, too. Saddleback Gauchos want a timeout. They lead it 30-13, up by 17 again.
It's the most amount of points the Hornets have given up this season, isn't it? 28 against El Camino.
Yep. Okay, Dave, take a look at it. Let's take a look and see if Pierce does any pushing in the corner.
Okay, outstanding protection from Schmidt. Pierce out there. Now, Glima has an angle on the ball, but it looked like Pierce pushed off with the left hand.
A little bit hard for our camera angle, looking back into that bright sun as it settles in the west. Tom and Glima still cooking down there in the defensive huddle of the Fullerton College Hornets. Timeout called by Saddleback. They lead it 30-13. So, again, aided by Hornet penalties that kept that drive alive. A fumble that would have been Jeff Malstead's and the Hornets. The play against the passer, roughing the passer, gave the Gauchos second life. They converted it for another touchdown. Give Jason Schmidt credit. He put the ball in exactly the right spot. Did Alvin Pierce push off to get the tally? I guess it depends on what side of the ball you're on. Schmidt going for 2. Back to throw, rolling to the right, over the middle, and knocked up in the air, and let's see who has it incomplete. Garabedian on the first tip, but the ball went back up, and 17-point difference remains. 2-point conversion fails by the Gauchos. 2 minutes, 30 seconds to go, third period of play, and the Gauchos come storming back for a touchdown.
Got it. 21-yard pass. Schmidt to Pierce.
So the crowd on the opposite side, the Saddleback crowd, they love the way things are going right now. their team is executing. Give them credit, because when they've gotten an opportunity here, things have gone their way, and they've been able to do good things with the ball once they've had a chance.
Stoic looks on that side of the field, huh? And the Gauchos, they're playing for also a county championship, but the national championship still up for grabs, too. You know, Snow College in Utah's #1. They're playing Northeastern Oklahoma in the Mid-American Bowl, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Should they lose, they got that legitimate claim for #1. But Swearingen's not concerned about that. He wants to be #1 on this field today, and who has the more points at the end of the ball game? Right now, the Gauchos are really taking command.
Coach Swearingen has been around a long time. His 9th season here at Saddleback College. He has 190 victories himself. That ranks him as #2. Jason Smith doing what he has to do. 16 of 25, 196 yards, 2 TDs passing and 1 rushing. Yeah, that's not a bad afternoon's work. Garabedian and Brown. Brown from the 1-yard line. Can the Hornets do it again? Reggie stays on his feet, fights over the 20 to the 22-yard line. Well, the Hornet offense still has improved. They can move the ball consistently. And Vega's run is the last touchdown, a 45-yarder.
You really got to open it up at this point.
And the sun is creating at this end of the field where the Hornets are right now, and the Gauchos, almost a glare that you would see with some fog. Almost appears as if there's a little fog rolling on that end of the field. You look at the other end of the field, very bright. A little bit of shadows, and as it gets late into the 4th quarter, sometimes the shadows from the visiting stands will go all the way across.
The magic of LeBard, huh?
Right now they're taking a look at a Gaucho player down there. Can't quite see a number. They're checking him out. One of the special teams players on the kickoff. We're talking about the other bowls coming up. It's kind of a nice matchup this year. The 1st and 2nd teams in the Pony Bowl. National Foundation Bowl has the 3rd and 4th teams in the state. Shrine Potato Bowl has the 5th and 6th teams in the state. And the Kiwanis Bowl has Pearson Moore Park, #7 and #8. So the top 8 teams all matched up evenly all the way up and down the line. 1st and 10 from the 21. The Hornets trail at 30 to 13, down by 17 points. 2 minutes and 30 seconds to go. And Richard Williams falls again. Now, I don't know what he's falling over. Sometimes the guards coming back, you fall back over their feet. Whatever it is, Richard is having a nightmare.
Now, I went out there before the game. I know the grass isn't that tall, is it?
I don't think it's quite that tall. It doesn't look like he's falling over his own feet. The guards will come back quite often and create a little triangle there with the center. And that'll happen to you sometime. He's a tough kid, and you talk about coming back from adversity. It's happening right here. Loss of 6. Back to the 17-yard line. 2nd and 16. The Hornets go to the shotgun for the first time today. They've got work to do. They're down by 17 points. Williams over the middle. Reggie Brown hangs on to it up to the 29-yard line. 12-yard pass, so they got back 12 of it. That'll bring up a 3rd down and about 5 yards to go.
Gotta wonder what's going through Williams' mind at this point. We talked to him yesterday. He was anxious, confident, poised, and able to overlook mistakes, and he's stumbling over his own feet out there and fumbling snaps. You have to wonder if he's not a little unsure of himself at this point in the ball game.
It'll wear on you. That mental part of the game is certainly so important, and he needs something to happen right now for him. And the Hornets, they trail by 17. Grimm in motion to the bottom. Hornets stay in a shotgun. Williams stays in the pocket, looks downfield, goes long, way over the head of Earl Jones. He was just airmailing that one out of trouble, but that'll bring up a 4th down, and the Hornets have to punt it. And that defense that's been on the field a long time has to go back out there one more time.
A little early to celebrate on the Gaucho side, but you have to really feel they're in control at this point.
No question about it. They're up by 17, a minute to go, 3rd period of play. Madrigal has had 1 good punt. This one kind of short, a line drive affair. Beelman calls a fair catch at the 35-yard line. 36-yard punt by Gus Madrigal. And the Gauchos take over from the 35-yard line, leading by 17. And now we talked about whether or not they'd go to the huddle and try to grind things out on the ground, but that might be a mistake. They've been doing well based on what they've been doing all year long, and that's the no-huddle offense, and they may just keep it going.
You have to feel, though, at this point of the ballgame with the big lead, they'd want to use the clock, though.
They give it to Youngkite. Youngkite is stopped by Garabedian, who's blitzing from the safety position. He'll lose 2 yards, make it 2nd down and 12. Well, of course, the drawback is if you get away from what got you here, oftentimes that just allows the momentum to shift. Although the Saddleback defense has proved they've been able to handle the Hornet offense thus far.
Sometimes it happens when you play not to lose instead of keep playing as you design the game plan, play to win, and just trying to play safe, and consequently you'll make errors. They are going to the huddle, so the idea apparently at this point of the ballgame will be to work the clock.
The Gauchos trying to get the monkey off their back. They're 0-2 in the Pony Bowl against the Hornets. Smith, quarterback keeper. Smith over the 40 to the 42-yard line, and is there a fumble? The Hornets say yes. More importantly, the officials say no. 2 seconds to go. That'll be the end of the 3rd period of play. 30-13. The Gauchos up by 17 points. And we thought the Gauchos would be able to score, but not 30, David, in the first 3 quarters of play.
Well, they scored over 40 points against El Camino, and John Featherstone had never seen this no-huddle offense before and was just shocked. And he says if there is a team that can stop this no-huddle stuff, it would be the Fullerton Hornets, although they've been lit up for 30 points through 3 quarters so far.
Turnovers have been a problem for the Hornets. We'll talk about the offensive staff, and Ken Swearingen will be the first to tell you that no head coach does it on his own, as Hal Scherbeck says. Bill Cunnerty, the 6-year quarterback coach. Mac Moore, the 8th-year line coach. Robbie Smith had his 5th year with the running backs, and Shamus Callahan, 1st year with the wide receivers. And for Saddleback on the defensive end, Don Butcher in his 10th year, Bill Egan in his 8th, Vince McCullough, what a great guy he is. Talked to him Tuesday night, 18 years. And Dick Stutes also in the 18 years. I believe he used to coach the baseball team for Saddleback.
But it's such a fun atmosphere down there. It doesn't seem like work to them. They're having a great time.
So 3rd down and about 5. Big play for the Hornet defense, and Smith will get the 1st down and much more. Tackled by Malstead, but not before Smith gets to the 49, and another penalty flag, and probably will go against the Hornets.
That kind of a day.
Personal foul against the Hornets. That's what it is. The Hornets starting to rack up the penalty yards.
And our official today, Jim Patterson, talking almost as much as we are.
Jim's run a few miles moving that football, huh? Here he is.
Personal foul on Fullerton, 15 yards.
I was tired of hearing him talk anyway.
On the 36-yard line.
36-yard line, 1st down, so Smith gets his gain of 6 yards, but he got that for the 1st down, and the extra 15 takes it down to the 36-yard line. The Gauchos can just about salt this thing away with a score of any kind right now. Pickling over the left side, tackled by touchdown man Ben Vega, but not before he gains about 4 yards. Make it 2nd down and 6.
2nd down is the 7.
Well, that Hornet defense has been out there a good part of the game, David, and they've got to be getting a little weary right now.
They get a chance a little bit to recuperate now since the Gauchos go to the huddle, but you're right, Lon. The Hornets very ineffective offensively and turning the ball over and 3 downs and punt. Takes a toll on the defense and makes them edgy just like that.
Dan Unger says there was movement from 53, Rodney Leota, and yes it is. A Bronx cheer from the Hornet fans on the home side.
True sarcasm at its finest.
Eagle motion. Against Saddleback, 2nd down and 12 now. 14 minutes remaining, down by 17. The Gauchos, they can eat up some of this clock here and put any kind of points on the board at all. That may be all they need for the 1985 Pony Bowl. Schmid getting to the outside. Schmid under pressure, and he will go down. No gain, no flags.
Big surprise.
John Healy, number 56, in on the tackle. Schmid getting up slowly and talking to a few of the Hornets. A little bit angry at the way he went down that time. He's got to be a target. He has been all year long, and he was going to be a target coming into this game. And for him to perform at the level that he has is just outstanding. Third down, 13 yards to go. The Gauchos have been able to convert when they needed to. Stately, after the ball's thrown, Schmid incomplete, looking for Mersola. And the Gauchos will have to punt it away. I thought perhaps we were going to have a roughing the passer again, David, but not the case. Jason Schmid very angry after that one. Hornet defense with Chris Stately applying a little pressure, so to speak.
Shouldn't be angry. He's had most of the break so far today, and the Hornets coming with the safety blitz, sending Vanderstay, one of the several, in fact 6 defensive backs, forcing the incompletion.
Keiss stands back at about his own 46-yard line. Garabedian and Reggie Brown looking right into that glare of the sun. A high, long punt. This one takes a bounce, goes into the end zone. The Hornets will take over from the 20. Well, if they're going to do it, you would think that they have to start doing it pretty soon.
Can't wait any longer. Get it started now, and another flag on the play. Can you believe it?
Let's see what this one's all about. Holding against Saddleback.
And the Hornet fans were sarcastically booing because they've been throwing flags on the Hornets the entire ball game.
Well, the Hornets may decline this because going back 15 yards may give the Gauchos a chance to pin the ball inside the 20.
I was just wondering why Keiss didn't try to pin the ball inside the 20. He just conceded the kick into the end zone right down the middle of the field.
Probably looking for that little hop he got in the first quarter. If you remember, that one died inside the 5-yard line. So the Hornets are going to make him kick it one more time. Let's see if they get anything out of this or if they just get the ball 15 yards on the penalty for the Saddleback Gauchos, but I'm not sure the Hornets want it. The offensive team stays on the field, and I guess they're going to make them punt it over one more time.
At this point in the ball game, trailing so tremendously like they are, they really don't need an 80-yard drive. They need to have something happen in a hurry, maybe go after the punch or possibly break a long return.
They will send 9 men. Garabedian and Brown stay back deep, this time at their 12-yard line. Andrew Keiss from the 40 will punt it away. A line drive affair. Reggie will fair catch it. The Hornets lost 9 yards.
So much for strategy, huh?
Well, on that exchange, that's a penalty against Saddleback that cost the Hornets 9 yards. So when it goes wrong, I guess it goes wrong. From the 11-yard line, the Hornets 89 yards away. They trail by 17-12. 46 to go, fourth period here. Von Brunk, Dave Lewis for you on the Fullerton College Television Network. The Hornets 8-2, Pac-9 Conference champions, the Mission Conference champion Gauchos. They were 10-0. Trying to get a win against the Hornets in the 5th annual Pony Bowl. Green tries to go underneath a block, but can't quite do it. Great play by Jay Wilkerson, number 35. Anderson trying to block Wilkerson, but just couldn't get the job done.
You know, we get to help contribute and vote for the players of the game later on, and you have to consider 35 Jay Wilkerson. He played an outstanding game for Saddleback, and on the offensive side, number 11 in that crimson kind of stands out, huh?
Yeah, I think Schmidt is going to get a few votes when this thing is all over. Johnny Green, 61 yards rushing, but they need much more than that right now. Williams and the Hornets, a loss of 3 on that play, 2nd down and 13. Dangerous place to pass, but they need something quickly. To Hankins. Hankins running the ball, stays on his feet, back to the original line of scrimmage, the 11, and that'll bring up a 3rd down and 10. Saddleback Gauchos have the Hornets right where they want them right now. Give them a long way to march and not much time to do it. 11:42 to go.
Talk about the Gauchos and the laid-back atmosphere. They like to have a good time with what they do. You think there'll be a fiesta at Mission Viejo tonight if they pull this one out?
Keep your daughters in, folks. Another big play. Richard Williams, the freshman quarterback, still in there. Has not had a Richard Williams type day, to say the least. 3rd down and make it 9 yards to go, and Williams back to throw, stands in the pocket. He's going to have to get up and out of the middle, stays on his feet, flags go flying. Richard delivers the ball complete to Rich Rollins, and I don't know if that isn't a holding call.
Williams.
The play came from the 15-yard line, and it may be holding against Saddleback.
Oh, Williams is
pass
pointing the
completed
Gauchos.
for the first down, though, David.
Williams pointing the Gauchos away, and a couple of penalties going. To see some of the people in the crowd, they're standing up and they're shrugging their shoulders. Really, a lot of sarcastic anger really vented towards the officiating in this ballgame. Although, should the Hornets lose, they really can't blame the officials. The Gauchos have really outplayed them in every facet of the ballgame so far.
Well, the third quarter stats will indicate the total offense difference. Of course, the major difference right now, 30-13, 11 minutes, 6 seconds to go. And there you see right there, 335 yards in offense for the Gauchos, 249 for the Hornets. But the turnovers starting to even out. But the Gauchos have just made the most of their turnover opportunities, David.
That's the type of ball that have exhibited all year long. In fact, the past couple of years.
Against Saddleback, first down.
When you look at a team that's plus 32 in the turnover column and the Hornets plus 1 of the season, something's going right for you. And they create a lot of that turnover situation because of their hard-hitting and aggressive play.
They've created 52 fumbles and got 29 of them. So, yeah, they do the job. Green off the right side. Johnny stays on his feet to the 37-yard line.
Why are they running the football in this point of the ball game?
Jeff Kelly.
I'm sure that's the question that's asked by a few people, although Green has shown the ability to break the long one. It's gone 72 yards against Orange Coast earlier in the year, but this is not the Orange Coast defense that's going on right now.
When you trail by this margin, time winding down the fourth quarter, you don't have time to go off tackle and run sweeps. You got to put it up in the air and get points in a hurry.
Earl Jones to the bottom, Aaron Grimm to the top, split backs for Richard Williams. Second down and 11 yards to go. Richard goes one side, looks to the other. Aaron Grimm gets the catch. Aaron Grimm to the 49-yard line. So on that second down and 1 play, Aaron Grimm takes it up to the 48-yard line. They mark it. That'll be a first down for the Hornets. So slowly marching their way downfield and chewing up the clock right now.
Apparently Zorn's injury to the ankle was much more severe than originally diagnosed because the way things have gone for them in the second half, you'd think they'd have brought him in at this point in the ballgame.
Had he been healthy, that may have been the real turning point because he was really playing well. 7 out of 10 at that point, moving the team very well, and that big fourth down stand by the Gaucho defense with the Hornets trying to go in to tie it looms large right now. Williams on a poor snap, steps up. Richard stays on his feet. Over the middle, incomplete. Rich Rollins had it in his hands, couldn't bring it down.
Pass from Williams to Richard Rollins.
Second down and 10, the Hornets. We still have not seen the Hornets go up top. We're talking 40, 45-yard pass. Just haven't been able to develop any deep patterns, but that's pretty much been the case all year long for Fullerton.
They've struck occasionally from distance. Aaron Grimm caught an 80-yarder against El Camino, and they've thrown a halfback option pass, but they're not the big play team they were last year with Rocky Mao and Kenny Nash, Pernell Sullivan, a team that could strike from any point in the field at any time. They're more of a ball-controlled team, and getting that total offense record, not a lot of big plays like we saw last year.
So that'll make it second down and 10. Green on his 18th carry of the game. Maybe gets 1 yard, and that's all. Tackled by Jeff Kelly, number 27, and number 94 from the defensive tackle position. Forrest Shepard, 6'3", 205. This is a shot for Richard Rollins. Didn't quite bring it down, Dave.
And Alan Roman there, he nearly had himself an interception. Look, it bounced right through his hands, and he has to shake his head because he could have picked it up and pretty much would have salted this one away.
Well, there's a guy, Alan Roman, number 44, that's dealt with some adversity in the 2 years. 2 years playing in a broken arm and a broken collarbone, 1 in each year. Third down and 9. Williams from the shotgun, fakes one side, has a screen set up with Steve Anderson out in front. Hankins cuts back up to the inside and fights to the 43-yard line, but that'll be short of the first down. Dean Hankins, number 23. They had a screen set up, and Steve Anderson, 70, did his job, but they're going to be short of the first down of about a yard, and at this point, you would expect the Hornets to go for it.
Oh, no doubt about it at all at this point in the ball game. Great block, too, by Anderson, knocking off Pau'u. You know, the scouts really love Zeppi because He's such a hard hitter, and he plays very well. He's strong, can bench press 400 pounds. But they don't think he has the size to play inside college linebacker. At the 4-year level, he'll probably be on the outside.
So 4th and 1. Don't have to tell you what kind of play this is going to be. Hankins is stopped. He will not get the first down. First one there, Neil Wallner, number 91. And folks, that might have done it.
See Aaron Grimm walking out shaking his head. Pretty much tells the story.
7:57 to go, and the Gauchos, a team that has never defeated the Fullerton College Hornets. They are 0-2 in 2 meetings, trying to gain some national respect. They knew they had to beat the Hornets before they ever got any respect outside of Orange County.
10-0, and really the Rodney Dangerfields of Orange County football. They just weren't respected on a national basis and taking on the national powerhouses.
They lead by 17. Fickling now. They'll keep the ball on the ground. Tackle made by Ben Vega. Gain of 2 yards, 2nd down and 8. They don't need a lot of yardage or points right now. They can eat up 2 or 3 minutes per possession. That Saddleback defense, while perhaps not as overpowering as last year's group at the 1984 Pony Bowl, obviously has some great athletes going for them.
The Gauchos have had some national recognition. In fact, a poll, the teams of the 70s, the outstanding ones, have Saddleback 2 and Fullerton 3 with Mesa and Arizona number 1. They've had that recognition, but they just haven't beaten the quality teams in winning national championships.
Again to Fickling off the left side, and maybe 2 yards. 3rd down and 6 yards to go.
When you look at the schedule, there's the Palomars and Citrus, San Diego City College, which the last couple of years, and to be honest with you, they're, well, just not a good football team. And Fullerton out of the Pac-9 with a tough schedule. You have the Taos and Cerritos, El Caminos, and teams of that nature. It's a tougher competition and prepares you for bowl games. And for the Gauchos to come in here and really control the second half like they have is really a tribute to their outstanding team and the coach, Ken Swearinger.
Fickling the lone backs. 50 yards running. Smid keeps it himself. What a great athlete. Tommy Anglima can't get him. Malstead will guide him out of bounds at the 40-yard line and a first down. 6 minutes, 36 seconds to go. What do you do about Jason Smid? There's just no defensing him. He will be a great option-style quarterback at any 4-year school. Speed, intelligence, can throw the ball when you need it. As you said, the phone recorder coming off the hook right now.
Only thing he can do is knock him out of the game, and the Hornets would have loved probably to do that earlier in the ball game. But he's just been too good today.
Over 200 yards passing, 78 yards rushing for Jason Smid at MVP trophy. They're starting to engrave his name right now. 6:36 to go. Fickling over the left side. It's a little bit anticlimactic right now with a 17-point lead and 6:28 to go. Ben Vega says he can't do it all. He got his 7 points.
I'll start the engraving right now for Jason. Pretty much hands down at this point who the MVP of this game will be. But there's also an offensive player of the game, which will not be the MVP, and a defensive player of the game as well.
And usually they give the offensive player, if the MVP is the offensive player of one team, they try to give the offensive trophy to the other team. And I'm looking at an offensive...
John Green, perhaps?
Green is about the best bet for the Hornets. Mike Zorn was going great, but he didn't see a whole game. Well, everybody moved except Rodney Leota, number 53. And Jason looks into his helmet and said, now look, don't get anybody hurt.
There's 5 guys at the line of scrimmage, and 4 of them move. I think, Rodney, you're mistaken there.
Rodney, you've got to stay with the rest of us here now. Keep concentrating. We have 5 minutes and 40 seconds to go.
We haven't really talked that much. We talked about a little bit on how this no-huddle thing came about, but they were up vacationing in Canada, and Ken Swearinger and McCullough were talking football and, believe it or not, having a cognac or two. And the idea of what would you do? How would you defend if we didn't huddle? And Vince McCullough said it would disrupt us completely. And Swearinger, a little tipsy here he got, said, we'll do it. And this is what you have here, 1985 dominance of Saddleback College Gauchos.
Smid carries it off the left side. Short gain of about 4 yards. Saddleback, total domination in the second half, David. The first downs tell the story.
Well, 11 for the Gauchos compared to a measly 3 for Fullerton. And the only thing really they've had was the Vega 45-yard fumble, question mark return for a touchdown.
You know, part of the images that get developed by the media is you would think with Ken Swearingen and all the stuff heard about him being a laid-back guy, you get to think that, well, he never works hard. Sure he does. Scherbeck, they say he's all grit and determination. He never has any fun. Well, yeah, he does, you know, and so it's hard to paint a picture of both things being as true as they sometimes seem. Pass out of balance. Scherbeck and his staff, they have a lot of fun, but primarily they work hard. And you can bet Swearingen and his group, while they have some fun, yeah, they're hard-working guys.
Well, I talk about him, you know, watching films only one day a week, but the assistant coaches feel that he's the kind of coach that can watch a film one time and get more out of it than other coaches who can watch it 3, 4, 5, and 6 times. So he's just good at what he does and makes the most of his time on the field, and in the time away from it, he lives to the fullest.
And you got the two top coaches in America, Scherbeck. Coach Hal Scherbeck, 199 wins. Kick by Keiss into the end zone. The Hornets will take over from the 20. 4:43 to go, 30-13. The Gauchos up big over Fullerton.
Part of the fun atmosphere that surrounds Saddleback, they have the Saddleback Stakes at Los Alamitos, and Ken Swearingen was there to present the trophy to the winner. And he was asked the next day, you know, Ken, who was the winning horse? And he goes, I don't know, but it's not the one I bet on. All the circus atmosphere that down in Mission Viejo.
Well, Ken, after the 38-6 loss to Fullerton, I heard him come up to Hal Scherbeck in that 82 Pony Bowl, and he simply said, Coach Scherbeck, thanks for the lesson, and that was the end of the story.
But I'll be back.
And he's back, and so is his team. Williams prancing around, evades some tacklers, and now gets it to Glenn Anderson, number 21. Glenn out of bounds at the 45-yard line, first down Hornets.
Some of the fans here sensing the inevitable, starting to depart, and some of the fine camera crew that have made this telecast possible today.
Well, we've done night games throughout 1985. Kind of nice to be out in the sunlight. I'm not sure of this much sunlight, though. It's a great place to see a game and everything, but the scoreboard a little bit hard to see. And if you're sitting on this side, the home side, right now the Hornet fans looking right into that glare as we are on the press box side. Meanwhile, the Saddleback College fans awash in a shadow and probably a glow, as right now they love being up 30-13. Williams back to throw, steps up, cannot get away though. 93, Greg Conrad does it again. He's been all over the field. You also have to be looking at the defensive player of the game, David.
Conrad, you have to consider also Jay Wilkerson. The All-American Pawu has been outstanding. Alan Roman back there in the secondary, although hadn't had many opportunities. Just been a complete team effort. And Swearingen says when you come to Saddleback, when you recruit players, you have to be willing to sacrifice some of your individuality or go somewhere else and play. There's a lot of pride he instills in becoming a Gaucho, and it reflects on his players out there today.
Well, these two coaches didn't rack up the victories they have without coming up with a team kind of concept. That has been the basis of it. Second down. The Hornets with about 21 yards to go. Williams under all kind of pressure now, and he'll go down again. There he is, 35, Jay Wilkerson. Perhaps lobbying late in the election here.
A little premature, but he's got my vote.
He'd like to take some hardware home with him, too. 3 minutes, 22 seconds and counting. The Gaucho fans and teams just ready to explode over there. And, you know, I really believe, being around these two coaches for a few years, that they have a deep respect for each other.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to come out and play hard against each other, but they appreciate the success that's happening on both sides of the field. The Hornets, they've won 2. It looks like the Gauchos, and barring divine intervention, are going to go away with a win here, 30-13.
And acclaim it the #1 team in the nation.
They may have a shot at it. Snow, Utah. Oh, that one snapped over Richard Williams' head into the end zone. Richard picks it up. Now we got a little rugby game going. Richard trying to get it. Now he does a little jute, throws the ball away, and a flag goes flying. That's going to be a safety. Any flag in the end zone is automatically at 2 points.
Intentional grounding in the end zone would automatically be awarded 2.
Richard will not ask for the film of this game. And another flag goes flying.
And Knutson did some talking.
Mike Knutson, the first team All-American on the JC grid wire. You got to know that the big fella's pride is a little hurt right here. And That's just going to make a difference in the score, not the outcome, folks. 32-13 right now. The safety, part of the scoring here. 7-0. The Gauchos went up on a Fickling 1-yard run. Young Kite passed 10 yards from Jason Spit, 14-0. Hornets came back with a 14-yard fake on a field goal to make it 14-7. A 49-yarder by Tracy Rutkowski made it 17-7. 13-yard run by Smid, 24-7. The Hornets came back with Vega stealing the ball away, 24-13. And the wheels have kind of come off the cart since then, David.
Unbelievable. The Gauchos finally playing well in the Pony Bowl, something they haven't really done. In fact, they really didn't play well the one game they won against San Diego Mesa, a game which most people didn't see because of the tremendous fog that night. Getting blown out by Cerritos once, losing to Fullerton twice last year in the last minute, and a tremendous, as you said earlier, monkey off their back to finally emerge and break through with that win, and a shift in the balance possibly in Orange County football.
On the north side there, and Coach Scherbeck and his group may try to put some lead back and get the balance going their way again next year. It does make the rivalry even more creditable now, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah,
you really got a rivalry going now, folks. If they meet next year, get on out here. About 6,000 of them here. The rivalry really brewing right now. 2 points on a safety. The penalty afterwards will move it back from the 20 back to the 10-yard line, half the distance. And Fullerton right now over a football field in penalties, 118 yards. Glenn Garson doing our stats today. We want to thank him for the 1985 Pony Bowl. Kathleen Lilly, SID at Fullerton College. Dave DeBerry.
All of them outstanding.
Great people. We've really been fortunate to work in two conferences where they maybe have the top SIDs in America. They really take it serious down here. Schabowski kicking it away from the tee. Alvin Pierce picks up on the first hop at the 40-yard line. Pierce goes down short of the 50-yard line. But things right now remain to be academic. 32-13, also 34 to go.
Also, while we're at it, the pictures you see there, let's give some people some well-deserved credit for making these pictures part of it. Steve Harris directing, all the fine people, John Franco, the list goes on and on. Literally a cast of thousands. Mike Moore, the maestro of the whole thing, all responsible for bringing these pictures to you today.
And we're running a little late on time, so we won't be able to bring you a post-game interview. But we will say that we want to thank all the people. Mike Moore, especially, who's taken over as chairman of the communications division, and he's got a few things to do. He's been sticking with us all year long, hanging in there. This is a M-O-O-R-E. He told me I had to say it if I wanted to work anymore this year. We love you, Mike. Offsides against the Hornets. Wait a minute, no cheer from the folks here on the Hornets side. They're tired of cheering, I guess.
They've waved the white flag today.
Starting to march out. Saddleback fans hanging in there pretty good. Actually, it believes on the home side here, it appears that the Hornets had a few more fans. They are a great group. Many times we go places and do Hornet games, David, and the Hornet fans outnumber the home team. So they have a loyal following of the 25 years of head coach Hal Scherbeck. And the silver anniversary guy will have to wait until next year for 200, but it'll be there.
And no doubt he'll be around.
How about Al Fiola, also number 25, the defensive staff for the Hornets with Jeff Jesperson, Bob Mitchell, Mark Allen, and Nate Woods. On the offensive side, Sampson, Glenn Thomas, Dick Campbell, and Jerry Mejia. And Saddleback, first down and 5. They have a new quarterback in there, number 8, Pat Haggerty. So they're just going to run the ball and the clock out here. I don't believe you're going to see them throwing the ball up top here. These two coaches think too much of each other.
I tell you, they're loaded. A guy like Haggerty, Tustin High School grad, went on to Air Force, where they say he stayed long enough just to get his hair cut, and then came back locally. And to play here, they say they have tremendous depth at the quarterback spot. If it weren't for Jason Schmidt, a guy like him could have had an outstanding year as well. So the Gauchos just loaded from top to bottom. Tremendous depth, great offense, good defense today. They were clearly the best team on the field.
So Haggerty trying to direct the last couple minutes. Gives it to number 48 of the Gauchos, Remy Ramatula. I'm glad I got to say that. I've been working on that.
I'm glad you did too. It made my day.
Minute 17 to go.
A lot of ex-Hornets are coming back here today. Dave Robinson, the son of John Robinson, head coach of the Rams here, former Hornet tight end.
The honorary coin flip by Freddie Dreyer, the ex of the Rams and now of TV fame. He was discovered by Ken Swearingen when Ken was back at El Camino lifting weights, and he said, look, how about a helmet and some pads, and you go out and hit some people instead of lifting those weights all day, and that started a career. It ended up with the Los Angeles Rams, and he went a few miles west, and now he's in Hollywood.
The PA announcer said, formerly of the Hunter series, and he looked around and said, what, it was canceled already? And, of course, our PA announcer today, Dick Tucker, head coach of Orange Coast College. A family affair here today, I tell you.
Still third down and 12 to go.
39 seconds to go, 32-13. Up by 19 points, the Saddleback Gauchos, and yep, the monkey's off. They're going to get a win here in the 5th annual Pony Bowl. Down to the 40-yard line. We'll be back in a moment with more Hornet football after this brief pause for a tape change by your local cable channel. Orange.
The Irvine Company, long associated with the growth and the finest in Orange County, is pleased to be a major underwriter of Hornet football and with the win. For Hornet, the court congratulates the team, coaching staff, and Fullerton College. This is the 25th year of exciting Hornet football under the guidance of head coach Hal Scherbeck.
Back here at Labard's. At work, and the Gauchos are going to take a win away from this encounter. Right now, the Hornets have got to feel good about what they were able to do this season, David. They started off 1-2. Nobody thought they had a chance for the Pac-9 title, and yet they did it. They went up north in the Cougar den, so to speak, and defeated a Taft team that was highly ranked. Very good team. So they have to still not go away from this season believing it was a failure.
Oh, yeah, 7 straight wins, and also number 7 ranking in the country coming into today. And you start off 1-2. It's a tremendous accomplishment. But for today, the Gauchos were number 1.
And the clock runs down on the season for the Hornets, and the Gauchos celebrating on the far side. They take a 32-13 victory over the Fullerton College Hornets. And David, turnovers in the early going. Jason Smith, just too much for the Fullerton College Hornets.
He was outstanding. We'll conduct our own official.
From the 47-yard line, the Gauchos. Smith in trouble. Smith, the ball taken away. Vega, he'll go all the way. Touchdown, Fullerton.
Not even that makes Hal Scherbeck smile at this point.
Ben Vega, there he is. A sophomore from Nordoff just stripped the ball away from...
Big trouble here. You don't see him look confused very often, but he did, and he scrambles, and Ben Vega comes in and says, look at this. I'm taking it right out of your hands. Like a guy stealing his wallet. There he goes off to the races, and Jason Schmidt chasing after him.
6 feet, 200-pound sophomore backing up Zuniga and Stately and Menches. But he's had a great season. He's not really a backup. 2.5 quarterback sacks, and I guess you got to call it a fumble. .160 passing. Woo. Quite an athlete. 2nd down and 10. Second down and 10. From the 47-yard line, the Gauchos. Smith in trouble. Smith, the ball taken away. Vega, he'll go all the way. Touchdown, Fullerton. Nine yards in total offense, 160 passing. Woo. Offense, 160 passing. Woo. Quite an athlete. Second down and 10 from the 47-yard line, the Gauchos. Smith in trouble. Smith, the ball taken away. Vega, he'll go all the way. Touchdown, Fullerton. More backing up Zuniga and Stately and Menches, but he's had a great season. He's not really a backup. 2.5 quarterback sacks, and I guess you got to call it a fumble.
Call it what you want.
No other terminology. Got to be a way to play now. It went from one to the other. Ben just reached in there and picked Jason Smith's pocket. Took it 45 yards. Well, you.
Production funding in part for Hornet football has been provided by the Quarterback Club of Fullerton College. The Quarterback Club congratulates the team, coaching staff, and Fullerton College in this, the 25th year of exciting Hornet football under the guidance of head coach Hal Scherbeck.
JFK was in his first year as president. Chubby Checker's Twist was one of the biggest songs of the year, and hula hoops could still be found in most homes. And Fullerton College hired a new head coach. The year was 1961, and the new coach was Hal Scherbeck. 1985 marked his 25th year at Fullerton, and his 191 victories makes him the winningest JC coach in America. The Hornets suffered a little tarnish on the silver anniversary season last week as they lost their season opener to Santa Ana. Their fourth quarter rally fell just short of the mark. Tonight, the Hornets entertain the Orange Coast Pirates. OCC opened their season with a tie against Golden West College, but their wishbone offense should make this an exciting encounter. It's the North versus the South as we begin our fourth season of Hornet football on the Fullerton College Television Network. Fullerton College Television presents Hornet Football. Tonight, the Fullerton College Hornets entertain the Orange Coast Pirates. Hello again, everybody, and welcome to Fullerton District Stadium for our fourth season on Fullerton College Television Network. I'm Lon Brunk, along with me, Dave Lewis, and we are very happy to be bringing you the silver anniversary season of head coach Hal Scherbeck and his defensive coach, Al Fiola. And Dave, a little tarnish on the silver platter last week against Santa Ana.
Well, tarnish, who would have expected the champions of the Orange County to fall to Santa Ana?
Well, that'll happen. We've got the playing of our national anthem right now, so we'll pause for that. national anthem opens up the 25th season. David, as we said last week, the Fullerton College Hornets at Santa Ana, and a little bit of a mild upset, so to speak, in the opener.
First of all, I got to say about the twist. I saw you doing it before we went on. You have some work to do in that area.
And chubby, huh?
Chubby, to say the least. Anyway, regarding the Hornets' loss to Santa Ana or Rancho San Diego, take your pick last week. Very, very discouraging on the Hornets side. 7 turnovers, 6 fumbles, a lot of miscues, a lot of lack of intensity we saw in the field last week, something that Hal Scherbeck should correct in practice and possibly will unfold in the home opener.
Well, they did come back well in the fourth quarter, and tonight another formidable foe. Hornets head coach Hal Scherbeck, #1 in the nation in winning, and #11 OCC's coach Dick Tucker. He's had 2 national championship teams. He knows how to put a team together himself.
Well, they've both been around a long time. Hal Scherbeck in his 25th year, Coach Tucker in his 24th. He's been very successful. You mentioned a couple national championships. The last one in 1975, one of the great teams in JC football ever assembled, and has caused a lot of problems for Coach Hal Scherbeck head-to-head. 8-14-1, and you look at the record and you say 8-14-1, only 8 wins. But you look at Scherbeck's record of only 50 losses. That's about a third of Coach Scherbeck's losses, only to one man.
So Dick Tucker's done his job against his North County foe. Now, the Pirates used the wishbone about 40% of the time last year, David. This year, they're going to it almost 100% of the time.
Well, some changes they made in the offense in the past season, and they will go from that and pass from that formation 100% of the time. They will seldom break it off like they did last year, use a wing back and use a veer-type formation like they did 40% of the time last year. It'll be completely wishbone in 1985.
Hornet starters being introduced, and Coach Dick Tucker took a little vacation with his staff down to Colorado Springs, Colorado, so they had a nice summer.
I'm wondering when I'm going to get to the Rockies, but they had some business to do. They took the April month and watched the Air Force Academy, who I hope Barry Switzer's not listening. They run the best wishbone in the country, supposedly, there, and they revamped their whole blocking scheme, and they feel that their wishbone suits the personnel of Orange Coast College, so they changed the complete scheme of things, took it as their own, and will try to utilize it very effectively, and they expect to pick up an extra 50, 60 yards a game because of the changes.
Very few teams run the wishbone offense, particularly at the JC level, and head coach Hal Scherbeck marching behind his team. The silver anniversary guy will be talking more about that as the game progresses. And really, Dave, for the Hornets defensively, they're not going to change their basic structure, but there's some things they're going to have to look for tonight to stop that wishbone offense.
A guy that comes to mind on the hot seat is Chris Stately. A week ago, 3rd on the depth chart, is now starting at a defensive end. And one of the responsibilities on the wishbone is for the defensive end to force the quarterback and the guy that pulls the trigger for Orange Coast, a good one, Ken Laszlo, make him commit, make him pitch the ball, make him turn it upfield. But he has to create something, ideally make him pitch and stop Laszlo from turning it upfield because he's very dangerous.
Well, it should be an entertaining night. The Hornet defense and offense, hopefully they'll have things straightened up a little bit from last week, although they did show some signs of coming along in the 3rd and 4th quarter. The Pirates a tie against Golden West, and they'd like to get their season off. Of course, everybody that plays Fullerton wants to play them top-notch. You make your season, so to speak, if you play the Hornets well. The Pirates will kick off. The Hornets will receive. The officials for tonight's game, and a good group, many of them we've seen over the last couple of years. Don Seaman, the umpire, will show those to you a little bit later. Back deep for the Hornets, #3, John Green, a man who, well, he had a little gray cloud silver lining. The silver lining was 137 yards, but the gray cloud, David, was he was unable to handle the ball much last week, but he's back there again, showing some confidence in the sophomore.
Had a great night, but felt like the loneliest man in the world after 4 fumbles back there on the special teams. Coughed one up last week, and although is a little reluctant to do so, is back there and go at it again.
Tom Cortez ready to put it underway in the home opener for 1985, and we've got it started. Green will go deep, and the ball, let's see, I think it'll be out of bounds. They'll move him back 5 yards, and we get a chance to practice it one more time. For the Hornets, besides John Green's fumbles, they had 7 turnovers all told, 1 interception from Mike Zorn with 1 TD, and they're looking to just get the wheels on straight with that offense. Everybody should be settled down now. Everybody should have a chance to get into the flow of the game quickly tonight.
The key point they were stressing in practice all week, especially on the offensive end, was execution. They felt that they could have defeated Rancho San Diego, and looking at the statistics, 350 yards in total offense, they outgained the Dons by about 100 yards, and quite frankly, the turnovers are the thing that cost them the ballgame.
And we were looking at Tom Cortez, #11. Now we see John Green awaiting the second effort from Cortez. And the Orange Coast Pirates and Dick Tucker feel pretty good about their kicking game, with Cortez doing all of the kicking off the tee. The punters for the Hornets and the Pirates. Tonight the Pirates have Gordon Moss. They feel very good about the sophomore returner.
Outstanding. He transferred from Arizona State, sat out a year. Outstanding player in the baseball field as well, but averaged 40 yards a kick last year, all conference, and can pin the ball inside the 20 with quite consistent frequency, and we expect more of that from the Pirates tonight.
Hornets, on the other hand, All-American Rick Frank off to Iowa State, leaves some very large shoes to fill for Dan Schlabowski and for Scott Prohaska, and that's still an unknown quantity for the Hornets. About ready to get underway one more time. John Green will wait near the right hash mark. Kind of a strange setup. He's way off to this side, and we're underway one more time. It'll drive Green deep, and an excellent second kick. It'll go out of the end zone for Tom Cortez. What a leg. Sent it about 5 yards deep, and it rolled out. So the Hornets will open the season opener here at home. And the Hornets on offense. They did not have a full 4 quarters of futility. They played well in spots last week. We'll have that offense up for you. Zorn will be the quarterback, back there with Hankins and Green in the backfield. Rollins, we expect to open up with Grimm. We'll give you the offensive line. 5-2 standard kind of defense for the Pirates. 1st and 10, just underway here. Fullerton District Stadium, the clock just about ready to start as Grimm goes in motion. Zorn fakes it, rolls to his right, and has his man on a screen. Wide receiver screen, and about 6 yards on the first play for Aaron Grimm, the fine sophomore receiver, and he's the guy that you get the ball near him, David, and he's going to catch it.
He's outstanding. He seems to me like the possession type receiver, get the big first down, the big third down conversion, get it for you. But last week we showed that he has some speed too, can really get deep on occasion as well.
Give him a gain of 5. 2nd and 5 for the Hornets. Grimm will come out. We'll see a lot of switching around with the Hornets on their wide receivers as they, as a general rule, use them to call the plays from the sidelines. 2nd and 5. The freshman Reggie Brown in motion to the bottom. Zorn looks. Now he's going to have to run out, give him a gain of about 4. Tackle made there by number 55, Mike Blake, the inside linebacker. And not a bad decision by Zorn. He looked over, and I believe Reggie Brown was the primary target. He was well covered. Mike pulled it down and got what he could.
Well, they really like his poise, the way he stays in there. A contrast from he and Doherty. Tom likes to get out of there when he feels a little pressure, break out in a hurry.
Offensive line for the Hornets, Klinkenberg at tight end, Knutson and Anderson on the right side, Katnick the center, an excellent one. Lopez and Atkinson, that's a fine group for 13-year line coach Glenn Thomas. 3rd down and about 1. Green to the left side. He's got a hole. He breaks loose. He's at the 45 midfield. Green, it's a foot race at the 25, at the 15, 5, touchdown. Sophomore Johnny Green on a 72-yard run for the first TD of the evening. A fine offensive line we were just talking about. David opened up the holes. Green found a seam, and there he went.
He broke clean. In fact, Hankins missed a block, but Green broke through the pack cleanly and went relatively untouched for the long gain.
Schlabowski for the extra point, trying to tack it on. 13-32, that score. Schlabowski's away, and good. 7-0 to Hornets at the 13-32 mark. Well, Dick Tucker said, I would have rather that they had lost or won against Santiago. We're afraid they're going to be a little irritated. Don't stir up the Hornets' nest. Right now, offensively, they came out in fine fashion. Replay, David.
Take another look at it. They had the tackles pulling, and John Green pretty much broke through clean. Sean Lovelace, who had a fantastic game last week, was the only man who could catch him, showed great speed and had the angle, but Green simply had too much foot speed and beat him all the way to the corner.
And a fine opener for John Green, and you really feel good about seeing any player. Doesn't make any difference what side of the ball it is. John had a tough time last week, and you know John Green, and you know how hard he wants to do well. That's a good chance for him to get himself back up and maybe get in the good graces of the coaches one more time.
He really had a rocky outing last week, up and down and in the doghouse at times it appeared, but what a way to get his home opener started.
Pirates about ready to get it started here. Schlabowski will kick off back deep. George Hernandez will be one of them back there, along with number 3, Darren Bond. That'll be 26, Eddie LaMontagne, and he's knocked down at the 12-yard line. LaMontagne, the starting halfback. A little bit of a trouble hanging on to it, Dave. We got some news about that run by John Green.
Well, John Green has just put himself in the history books of sorts. It's the longest touchdown in Fullerton history, well, at least since Larry Jackson's 97-yarder against Santa Ana back in 1981. So John Green electrifying.
We'll see that Wishbone offense for the first time tonight. Turning it all night long will be a fine one. Number 10, Kenny Laszlo. He'll have back there Eric Johnston, number 32. Eddie Lamontagne, number 26, and a big guy, the fullback, Chris Mendenhall. Fakes it to the back and he keeps it himself for a short gain, maybe about one. Laszlo, once he gets into the secondary, Dave, has proved to be a formidable runner. Once he gets past that line of scrimmage, with last week with 3 long runs, he can show he can do it all once he gets by the first group.
Well, his 173 yards is the most gained ever by an Orange Coast quarterback, and third most yards gained in a single game for any play in Orange Coast history, and had 3 long gains of 50, 58, 40, and 39, and broke one for 74 last year.
Wilson, the lone wide receiver, splits to the top. They stay in the bone. The Hornets, you'll see him doing a lot of jumping around, switching at the last minute. He keeps it himself and stuck right there. Coming up from the inside linebacker position, Pete Carter, a linebacker sophomore from Foothill, and that's his job, too, to fill that hole along with the tackle. So 2nd down and 9. They'll go to 3rd and 9. The Hornet defense prepared fairly well to play against the Wishbone offense, although you don't see it that often, Dave.
Well, you're going to see a lot of designated responsibility. For example, on the last play, Christopher Stately, his responsibility was the pitch man. So as Laszlo came down the line, saw the pitch man was covered, he had no option but to turn it upfield.
Most people, when you think of the Wishbone, you say, well, they can't throw off it. Orange Coast trying to prove this year that they can. 3rd down and 9, deep in their own territory. From the 14, they give it to Mendenhall. He's into secondary, and he's up to about the 27-yard line. They really like him, Lamontagne, as he came from the halfback position, and he was a surprise starter. We thought Bob Banderick would be there, but they have really 4 excellent halfbacks to run, and a good fullback in Mendenhall, but he's a little guy. They got one even bigger. Tom Cruise behind him.
Enormous. They list him at 6'2", 270, and he's really closer to 6 foot and 270. He's just in a big, enormous horse.
Rutsky, Hamlin, Boydson, Guardado, and McNaughton, along with Gibson, the offensive line for the Pirates. They feel good about that group, 6'2", 250. So a first down for the Pirates. The option, and Laszlo keeps it himself up outside of the 30, gain of about 3. Kenny Laszlo, Dick Tucker, the head coach of Orange Coast, feels very good about this young man. The offensive backs, we talked about Laszlo, number 10, Mendenhall, Bob Banderick, and Hagee. They'll switch in and out with Johnston and Lamontagne, and also Leon Phillips as the lone receiver on one side. And you would think with only one guy they couldn't do a lot of passing, but 3 receptions last week for 49 yards. Phillips comes to the bottom this time. 2nd down and make it a long 7. Just outside of the 30, they need to go to the 37-yard line. Laszlo fakes, goes over the middle, trying to hit his tight end, number 88, Greg Gibson, broken up by